Ohio State is not typically known for their defense. However, in 2023, they produced quite a few very solid defensive prospects. While quite a few of them have returned to school, we have a couple of guys in this class that could be pretty viable starters in the NFL. We talked about linebacker Tommy Eichenberg in a previous video, and today we're going to take a closer look at Buckeyes defensive tackle Mike Hall, a player who really stood out at the Senior Bowl and is a guy who had a really solid season. How high will Hall hear his name called? That is what we will be going over in today's video. But hey guys, if you guys are new to the channel, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Leave a comment and let me know which players you guys want to see me talk about in a future video, and without further ado, let's take a closer look at Michael Hall. Hall has been decent for the Buckeyes over the last couple of seasons. While he hasn't put up ridiculous stat lines, he still has produced at a high level for the Buckeyes. In 2022, Hall finished the year with 7 hurries, 4 hits, and 5 sacks on the season. He showed some decent pass rush upside and some abilities as a run stuffer as well. His 2023 season was not quite as productive, but once again he still put up solid numbers. He finished with 22 hurries, 5 hits, and 2 sacks, and after a very solid showing at the Senior Bowl, is a guy who some people really like in this draft class. Coming into the season, I had one major concern with Hall, and it was his quickness, and he really showed out in 2023. Both on tape and at the Senior Bowl, Hall showed elite quickness from the interior. He gets his hands up quickly, and he has a very quick first step, and I really love his athleticism from the inside. He has quickness to blow by defenders, but it's not just quicks. Hall has some very good hands as well. He is constantly using his hands and fighting away offensive linemen. He plays with an extremely high motor, and he is constantly trying to find ways to get into the quarterback's backfield, and I like what Hall showed there. Hall also has some pretty solid strength for the position. He showed some really solid strength and did a very nice job of leveraging himself on the inside. Both in run defense and as a pass rusher, I really like the strength he plays with. He did a very good job of pushing back offensive linemen, and he plays with low pads, which I love to see because he's able to generate the power and his strength from his lower body, and I really like that about him. The biggest issue for Michael Hall is going to be his size. At 6'2", 280 pounds, Hall is pretty small for the defensive tackle position. He doesn't have the ideal weight, and he's a bit undersized as well. On tape, it looks like he has smaller arms, but when they measured at the Senior Bowl, it came back at 81 inches, which is really solid. I'm going to be intrigued at how Hall is going to grow into his frame at the NFL level, and it's definitely something to monitor. Hall also did a very poor job of disengaging when he was double teamed. He relied so much on his strength, but he didn't have a ton of moves, and he was moved pretty easily when double teamed. He's not a guy that has a very strong anchor, so I'd like to see him develop a little bit more in that area. Michael Hall is a very intriguing player. He's athletic from the interior, but he has some concerns with his size and how he faced against double teams, and he struggled against the run at times. I like this defensive tackle class quite a bit, and Michael Hall is my number 10 defensive tackle. I think he has a lot of potential, and he could be a very solid player in the league, but the size does push him down my board just a little bit. Hall to me worked best as a pass rushing 3-tech in a 4-3. I like the power he plays with and the strength, and I truly think he can develop into a very solid pass rusher from the interior, wherever he's drafted. With his size concerns, I think this is going to be the best situation for him in the NFL. My player comparison for Michael Hall is Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle Osa Odighizuwa. For the Cowboys, Odighizuwa is a bit undersized, also at 280 pounds, but he's been a solid rotational pass rusher for the boys over the last few seasons. Him and Hall have a very similar game. I think if Hall can develop into a player like Odighizuwa, you're getting incredible value down the board. It's a good pass rusher from the interior who's not an every down player necessarily, but he comes in on pass downs, and Odighizuwa has been very impactful for Dallas. Michael Hall is the Hall monitor. He's good against the run and the pass, and he plays with a lot of quickness and twitch. The size concerns are real, consistency concerns are real, but ultimately, I believe Michael Hall will be a third-round pick in the 2024 NFL Draft.